Hello, I'm Dr. Diana Bizecki Robson, the Curator of Botany at the Manitoba Museum. And this summer I was excited to be able to go out to the southwestern part of the province to visit Birdtail Sioux First Nation. Part of the reason why I was interested in going out to that area is because the reserve occurs where the Assiniboine River Valley meets the Birdtail Creek Valley. And river valleys, especially eroded tops of river valleys, are actually areas where a lot of rare plants grow, particularly plants that are more common in Saskatchewan and Alberta. So I have today 4 species that I collected while I was out there that are fairly rare in Manitoba, but a little bit more common to the west of us. So the first species is called tufted fleabane, and it's in the aster family. And for that reason, it's got kind of a flower structure that's similar to a sunflower, but it's got a yellow little disc in the center. And then the edges of the flower actually have fine white petals. So this is actually considered to be a critically imperiled plant in Manitoba. The next species I have is yellow umbrella plant, and it's another species that has quite deep tap roots. For that reason, it stays anchored to the soil fairly well because those tap roots go deep in and prevent it from eroding away. And it's got lovely little fuzzy leaves on the underside that are nice to touch and pretty little yellow flowers. So a third species, it's also quite rare, is clustered broom rape. And it's actually an unusual species because it's not green. It doesn't produce any green leaves, it just produces brown scaly leaves, and that's because it's a parasitic plant. So what that means is it has special roots called haustoria that tap into the roots of other plants, and then it just steals the sugar that other plant photosynthesizes. Now you might think, oh my God, that's a terrible plant then, it's a parasite. But in fact, these parasitic plants are actually an indicator of really high quality prairie. Because if there wasn't a lot of healthy prairie plants for this plant to parasitize, then it just wouldn't be there. So the last plant I have to show you is sagebrush, and there are lots of sages in Manitoba, but sagebrush is actually a woody shrub, and it's got the very classic sort of fragrant sagey flowers. Sagebrush is actually the favorite food of pronghorn antelope, and part of the reason why pronghorn antelope are pretty much extirpated from Manitoba now is because we've cultivated most of the habitats where this sagebrush grew. Nowadays, you pretty much only find the antelope in Saskatchewan and Alberta. So if you want to see what a pronghorn antelope looks like, and if you want to see what sort of the eroded prairie river valleys look like, what the vegetation's like, you can actually come to the Manitoba Museum and visit the Prairies Gallery. We have a beautiful diorama of a pronghorn and some native grassland here.